forgiveness of our sins, and make supplication, cry unto thee, cry unto the Most High in the land of them that carried them captives, where we are in the four corners of the earth, saying, we have sinned and have done perversely, we have committed wickedness, and so return unto thee with all their heart, and heart is the mind, and with all their soul, in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee toward their land, toward the east, for us in this western hemisphere, which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name. Then hear thou their prayer and their supplication over it again. Our cries in heaven, thy dwelling place, and maintain their cause. This is what he say, and forgive thy people that have sinned against thee. He said, and forgive thy people, the 12 tribes of Israel, that have sinned against thee, in all their transgressions, wherein they have transgressed against thee. That thee is the Most High. And give them compassion before them who carried them captive, that they may have compassion on them. But they be thy people, we the 12 tribes of Israel, and thine inheritance, we the 12 tribes of Israel, the Most High's people, the Most High's inheritance, which thou brought forth out of Egypt, from the midst of the furnace of iron. Captivity, man, a hard labor, that thine eyes may be open unto the supplication, the crying of thy servant, and unto the supplication, the crying of thy people Israel, to hear, to hearken, to listen unto them in all that they call for unto thee. But thou didst separate them from among all the people of the earth, to be thine inheritance. We the 12 tribes of Israel, to be the Most High's inheritance, as thou spakest by the hand of Moses thy servant, when thou brought up our fathers out of Egypt, O Most High power. 2 Chronicles. We look at how we have sinned. And we got to look at this in a real way, so that the Most High can have this mercy that's promised to us and deliver us. And when you look at, go to 2 Chronicles 6, we're going to read verse 24. Sorry, verse 24. We're going to 2 Chronicles, the 6th chapter, verse 24. And if thy people Israel be put to the worst before the enemy, because they have sinned against thee, see, we sin against the Most High, so he say, hey, put us to the worst before the enemy, because we sinned against the Most High, and shall return and confess thy name, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, and pray and make supplication over and over again, cry unto the Most High before thee in this house, then hear thou from the heavens, and forgive the sin, the transgressions of the Most High's laws and commandments of thy people Israel, and bring them again into the land which thou gavest to them and to their fathers. When the heaven is shut up, and there was no rain, because they have sinned against thee. Yet if they pray toward this place, and confess thy name, and turn from their sin, when thou dost afflict them, that's why he said in our affliction, we're going to seek him early, y'all. In Hosea 5:15. Then hear thou from heaven, and forgive the sin of thy servants, and of thy people Israel, when thou hast taught them the good way, which is his laws, statutes, commandments, his moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws that we follow right now. Then hear thou from heaven, verse 27, and forgive the sin of thy servants and of thy people Israel, when thou hast taught them the good way. That's the ways of the Most High. The good way is to keep his laws, statutes, commandments. That's why my Shai said in St. John 14:6, I am the way to show you how to follow the truth that's going to lead to everlasting life. What's the truth? The laws of the Most High. Psalms 119, 142. Let's sing it together, class. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So he the way to show us how to follow the truth, which is the laws, the commandments of the Most High, that's going to lead to everlasting life. Point blank. Ain't nothing changing. Verse 27 again. Then hear thou from heaven, and forgive the sin of thy servants. That's the 12 tribes of Israel, and of thy people Israel, when thou hast taught them the good way, the moral laws, the civil laws, the dietary laws, the ceremonial laws, wherein they should walk. And send rain, that's blessings, y'all, upon thy land, which thou hast given unto thy people for an inheritance. See. Jump up to verse 36. 2 Chronicles 6:36. If they sin against thee, but there is no man which sinneth not. Once again. If they sin against thee, but there is no man that which sinneth not. And thou be angry with them, and deliver them over before their enemies, and they carry them away captives unto a land far off or near. And we just went over, and here we are in a land far off from our homeland of Israel. Yet if they bethink themselves again in the land whither they are carried captives, as we heard before, we hear it again, and turn and pray unto thee in the land of their captivity, saying, we have sinned. I need to underline that, because I'm going to underline it. Because this is a solution. We have sinned. We have done amiss and have dealt wickedly. If they return to thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their captivity, as we in the land of our captivity right now, whether they have carried them on captives and pray toward their land of Israel, here in the Western Hemisphere we'll pray toward the east, which thou gavest unto their fathers, and toward the city which thou hast chosen, and toward the house which I have built for thy name, then hear thou from the heavens, even from thy dwelling place, their prayer and their supplications. Their prayer and their supplication are cries in humility, and maintain their cause, and forgive thy people which have sinned against thee. It's very important. You know? Go to my big brother Nehemiah. Nehemiah, first chapter. Look at verse 2, Nehemiah 1 and 2. It says that Hananiah, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity. See, we're in captivity. We're still in captivity. And concerning Jerusalem. And they said unto me, the remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction. The remnant of us that are left of the captivity are in great affliction and reproach, disgraces. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down. Our security is gone. And the gates thereof are burned with fire. And it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept, start crying, and mourned certain days, and fasted, and prayed before the Most High Power of heaven, and said, I beseech thee, O Most High Power of heaven, the great and terrible power that keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments. Hear that? He keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments. Let thine ear now be attentive, praying to the Most High. Let thine ear now be attentive and thine eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servant. That's what we got to do right now, y'all. We got to pray to the Most High. These are examples of praying to the Most High, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel, thy servants. See? Servants are the children of Israel. And confess the sins of the children of Israel. Hear that? And confess the sins of the children of Israel. Right? Which we, there it is, which we, including himself, have sinned against thee. That's what's marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. That's humble. He got a book that's written about him. Happened to be a righteous man. But he said, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel, thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we, include himself. This righteous man, Nehemiah, he was a bad dude, man. Nehemiah he ain't take nothing. He put some work in. He said, which we have sinned against thee, both I, the most marvelous in the eyes of the Most High, which I and my father's house have sinned. Come on. You gotta see this. We, including himself, even though he's righteous, he got a book. His name went into our story forever and ever and ever. Why his name, Nehemiah, we're reading chapters and verses concerning him. That's what he say. Verse 7. We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments, which thou commanded thy servant Moses. Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if you transgress, you break my laws, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. But if ye turn unto me, that means come back to his commandments and keep my commandments, as is written right there, and do them. You got to do these commandments. He said, keep my commandments and do them. Though there were of you cast out unto the utmost part of heaven, utmost part of the earth, man, like way over here in this western hemisphere. Yet will I gather them from thence. He gonna gather us from where he scattered us in, all these different lands, and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. Understand those things. Psalms. King David wrote the Psalms. Mighty man. Look, better understand. Psalms 106. This David praying. He said, praise ye the Most High. Verse 1. Oh, give thanks unto the Most High, for he is good. He's only good. But his mercy endure forever. Now give you something you do deserve to endure forever, he said. Who can utter the mighty acts of the Most High? Who can show forth all his praise? Blessed are they that keep judgment, and he that doeth righteousness at all times. Righteousness is keeping the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. At all times, he said. That's how you're blessed. Remember me, O Most High, with the favor that thou bearest unto thy people. Oh, visit me with thy salvation. Power and authority is salvation, yo. That I may see the good of thy chosen, that I may rejoice in the gladness of thy nation, that I may glory with thine inheritance, the 12 tribes of Israel. This is what he say. we have sinned. That's what we're looking at. To show us what works. Before we go into the Day of Atonement, he said, we have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. We. It's amazing how you can read this all your life and don't see the significance of why I'm bringing out we have sinned, including the righteous ones that have a book written about them, and to us as the 12 tribes of Israel, that we can learn from our ancestors. I'm going to call on your ancestors. We call on them right now. This King David. This is what he's saying. All we got to do is duplicate what it is that works. Remember in the beginning? Let me read it to you again. Second Ezra, I'm right here. Second Ezra 8:48. In this also thou art marvelous before the Most High. Since we're going into the Day of Atonement, he said, and that thou hast humbled thyself. That's contrary to being prideful. Opposite of being prideful, humble thyself. As it becometh thee, this is Ezra. And you see, all the ones we're going to go into is the same spirit. That's why they looked at what worked. And all we got to do is look at what, at least I'm going to look at what works. And I know it works because you're going to see it over and over and over again. You can say, oh, here it goes again, here it goes again, here it goes again, here it goes again. What are they doing? The same thing over and over and over again. You keep hearing it. In this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, in that thou hast humbled thyself, as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. This is what they say for us today. But many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time, we're in the last days, y'all, this is the latter time right now, shall dwell in the world. Why? Because they have walked in great pride. He said, but understand for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. That's what? Marvelous in the eyes of the Most High, because he humbled himself and didn't account himself as one of the righteous. Look, King David saying in Psalms 106, verse 6, we have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt. They remembered not the multitude of thy mercies, but provoked him at the sea, even at the Red Sea. Oh, we're going to die. We're going to Pharaoh and his chariots chasing us. Oh, Moses, you brought us out here to die. We're going to die. We're going to die. The Most High opened up the Red Sea, made the ground dry, that we can walk across. Just seen all the plagues that the Most High put up on the Egyptians, and we sitting here chilling. Ain't nothing happened to us as the 12 tribes of Israel. And we still murmuring and complaining. Like it is today, nevertheless, he saved them for his name's sake. Not for our sake. Like, oh, that's what you can't be thinking you all that. It's for his name's sake. Nevertheless, he saved them for his name's sake, that he might make his mighty power to be known. You hear that? That's why, look, better understand, overstand. A lot of y'all ain't been dipped long enough to understand what the Most High. Look, go to Isaiah 48 and 10. You know, I seen with a lot of reading, but I could precept a lot. But I'm just dealing with we have sinned before the Day of Atonement. Before we go into the Day of Atonement. But look what it said. Behold, I have refined thee. Isaiah 48, 8 and 10 said, behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. Hold, I catch a lot of hell, man. For mine own sake, once again. And to what he said, for my own sake, not for our sake, for my own sake. Even for my own sake, just the Most High's sake, will I do it. For how should my name, that's in his name and our name, Yah, Shar Allah, how should my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another. So he hearkened unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my call. I am he, I am the first, I am the last, man. Mine hand also have laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand has spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they stand up together. All ye assemble yourselves and hear, which among them have declared these things. The Most High have loved him, He will do his pleasure on Babylon, and his arms shall be on the Chaldeans. That's judgment there. But going back to Psalms 106 and 8, this is what it says. He opened up the Red Sea for us, but we murmured against him. Can he save us? We murmured against him. Here we are now. It says in verse 8, nevertheless, he saved them for his name's sake. For his name's sake, not for our sake, for his name's sake, that he might make his mighty power to be known. That's why you understand, when things going to go down on this earth in these last days, and the Most High show forth his power for the last time to all these nations, everybody going to bow down forever and ever and ever. You ain't going to never identify him as no name before a hurricane. He ain't going to never be identified as Mother Nature, El Nino, little boy, La Nina, little girl, ever again. Global warming, all the things he's doing, floods, and we visit of the Most High tells you in Isaiah 29:6, the storms that's happening right now. He said, you're going to know that I am the Most High. Everybody going to know that he is the Most High. Ain't going to be no doubt about it. Ain't going to be no doubt in your mind forever and ever and ever. Understand, overstand this. That's why I say, we have sinned. Let's continue. Go to Isaiah 42nd chapter. And look at verse 23. Who among you will give ear to this? Which one are you going to give ear to this? Really pay attention to this. Who will hearken, who will listen and hear, for the time has come. Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken, who will listen and hear, for the time has come. Who gave Jacob for a spoil? Who gave us for a spoil? And Israel to the robbers. Did not the Most High? He against whom we sin, he against whom we have sinned, he against whom we have sinned and broken his law, statutes, commandments, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law, the same law that these preachers say that we not under. Who gave Jacob for a spoil? And Israel to the robbers. Most I did, he told us he gonna do it. He said all you gotta do is follow me. It tells you in 1 John 5:3, for this is the love of the Most High that we keep his commandments. Commandments are not grievous. You ain't supposed to be sad or doing what's right according to the Most High. But we rather choose the ways of these other nations, and now here we are in captivity to this day. Following the ways, they don't even gotta be around us for us to be prideful and hate each other. That's why I read the Willie Lynch letter to you. You don't know. And then I read the great-great-great-grandson's letter pertaining to us that live today to you on my YouTube page. Because it still applies to today. Listen, who gave Jacob for a spoil? Isaiah 42:24. Who gave us up for a spoil to be robbed? Think about it, man. They say they got $24 trillion in slavery. What have we ever got in reparations? Any kind of way, shape, or form? Nothing. Nothing. Say, who gave Jacob up for a spoil? And Israel to the robbers? Did not the Most High? Think about it. We spend over $1 trillion a year. We don't have nothing to show for it. Where our corporations at? That's a spoil, man. And Israel to the robbers? Did not the Most High? He against whom we have sinned? He told us he's going to do this. He against whom we have sinned, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. The same law you preachers saying that we ain't under, while we're in the captivity that we in now, and while we not going to get out until we follow what our ancestors that we reading about did, knowing what's marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. Therefore he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it have set him on fire round about. Yet he knew not, and it burned him. Yet he laid it not to heart. He ain't think this in his mind. That's why we have a day of atonement. To ask the Most High to forgive us for our ignorance and not knowing what we should do. And now you've been told what works. Hope you're here, because it's very important. Excuse me. Look at go to Isaiah the 64th chapter. Look at verse 4. Say, for since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither have the eye seen, O Most High, beside thee, beside the Most High, what he had prepared for him that waited for him. What the Most High had prepared for him that waited for the Most High. Thou meetest him that rejoices and worketh righteousness, which is, we know, keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments. Thou meetest him that rejoices and worketh righteousness, those that remember thee in thy ways. Behold, thou art wroth, for we have sinned. Here it is again. Thou art wroth, because we have sinned. In those is continence, and we shall be saved. But we are all as an unclean thing. Hear what he said? But we are all, including Isaiah, a righteous man. You know what he said? For we have sinned. That's still what we've been hearing all day long. This is what our ancestors said. They didn't point the finger at somebody. It didn't include themselves. Who are we? Tell you it's going to take 1,000 years for us to learn of the Most High's ways. We know in part and prophesy in part. He's going to make that part that we don't know whole, man. It's going to take 1,000 years. You look at how many years you live now and divide that amount of years into 1,000. And you see how many times you got to go into counting from your age now and put up your age division sign 1,000. And you add up how many times that is before you get to 1,000 years. And you think about that. How many times really in essence, most of them don't bring back the kingdom to Israel. How many times you lived on this earth